pass Motion M103 and all of its protests and opposition to it, now we get something else coming along in the same vein as Bill C-16, the transgendered bill. Whenever people talk about, say when you raise these issues about free speech and say, oh, it doesn't infringe free speech, it's just an addition to the Human Rights Code, or it's just a motion. Yeah, now it is. But what does progressive mean? This is what progressives do. They get worse and worse and worse. It's little steps, baby steps, until you turn around and then you can't say anything about a religion because it's protected. And then they can move in and do whatever they want, and you can't say anything about it. You know what I'm talking about. So, let's go through. A bill working its way through the Canadian Parliament would add gender identity, to the nation's list of protected classes, and could severely restrict free speech related to gender identity issues. From the maniacs who brought you Bill C-16 and jammed it down our throats, and Motion M103 and jammed it down our throats, the Islamophobia, where you cannot criticize a religion, political Islam. And also, did you realize what else they put in there? Oh, I'm gonna let me look that up, because okay, I'll look that up later. Let's continue this. I get ADD moment there. According to the bill's summary, I'll look at that later, in addition to extending gender identity and gender expression, that's fashion. That's not a class of people or anything. That's fashion. Watch Jordan Peterson. He's much smarter than I. He goes through. That's not something you're born with. That's who you identify as today. That's ridiculous. That's retarded. This is not what government should be doing. The Canadian Human Rights Act. The enactment also amends the criminal code to extend the protection against hate propaganda. What is hate propaganda? Define it, please. You're too vague. You people make these intentionally vague so it can apply to anything you want, to shut anybody you want up. Your enemies. Progressives. Those progressives. Against hate propaganda set out in the Act to any section of the public that is distinguished by gender identity or expression, and to clearly set out that evidence that an offense was motivated by bias, prejudice, or hate based on gender identity or expression constitutes an aggravated circumstance that a court must take into consideration when it imposes a sentence. They keep going further every time. They set up a precedent that looks moderate in the beginning. It's like, everybody agrees with this. Do you agree with this? That everybody agrees with this, but they take it the next step further the next time. It's called the slippery slope, anybody? The bill is currently under consideration in a committee in the Canadian Senate. Kill this thing. The bill's provisions are particularly troubling for those who advocate for free speech rights in Canada and worry about how the bill might be used against groups, particularly religious groups, who don't support promoting protections specific to people who consider themselves to be the opposite sex as their biological composition. Well, that's your own personal choice. I don't exist to validate your choice. That's for you to do. That's good for you. You identify as that. Good for you. I don't care. That is not, I do not have to validate your lifestyle. Okay? The only lifestyle I validate is my own. And I'm a heterosexual white male. Proud of it. And I don't care about your stupid privilege, white privilege, male privilege shit. I reject it. It's wrong. And go fuck yourselves with that stuff, because I will not obey you. I will not bow to you. I will say what I want. I don't care about your stupid privilege stuff. Shut up. Harold Albrecht, a Conservative Party member of Parliament from Kitchener, Ontario, says the bill represents threats in 4 areas. This guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about. I am concerned that this bill would cause fear for many Canadians, fear that they would not be able to discuss public policy issues such as this one. Oh, this Canadian has no fear about discussing issues like this, on which they may disagree with the government-imposed agenda. That's exactly right. Government-imposed agenda. Progressive government-imposed agenda. The difference between a liberal and a progressive. A liberal will live their life the way they want, and they want to be left alone. A liberal progressive will live their life the way they want, but they will do everything in their power to make sure you live the life that they want you to, because it's better. We're superior. The way we live, the way we see the world is superior to yours. Therefore, you must embrace our ideology, our way of thinking. If you do not, we will punish you. You will be ostracized from society because your thinking is not evolved as ours has. They are such authoritarian cunts. Sorry, that was a bit of a rant, but I'm concerned this bill floor of the parliament. I'm concerned about the potential harm to innocent children and youth, and if that's true, this shit does harm children. The reassignment stuff harms children. It's child abuse, I think, to be used in the context of legal documents, particularly in the Canadian Human Rights Act or the Criminal Code of Canada. This has no place in the Criminal Code of Canada or any country. Finally, I'm concerned that when government adopts dramatic changes to public policy and it relates to gender identity and sexuality, they're denying science, real science, with minimal, and they call people on the right science deniers because we're skeptical about the whole global warming agenda, which I am, by the way, but that's a topic for another video. Transgender children, or I have to keep on track because I'll go off on tangents because, ADD. Canadian pastor Paul Dirks, who heads New West Community Church in New Westminster, told CBS News, I'm going to have to look this guy up and support him, told CBS News he's concerned the bill would make it impossible for businesses and schools to prevent men wanting to do harm to others and claiming to be women from hiding out in women's bathrooms, locker rooms, and public showers. That's right. This is not about transgendered people. This is about giving people who are perverts that want to go look at girls without consequence in the bathrooms a defense for that. That's the concern there. That's why we on the right have concerns about that, the whole bathroom thing. No. If you have female junk, you go to the women's bathroom. If you have male junk, you go to the male's bathroom. It's very simple. Your feelings do not get to determine what bathroom you go into. Your campaign doesn't say trans people are a risk to anyone. It's saying predators are going to take advantage, said Dirk. Yes, exactly. Their campaign. Okay. Faced protests over his opposition to the bill. Well, who'd have thought that? They protest everything. They're such authoritarian cunt bags. And you may not agree with someone who's a preacher, who's a pastor, who's a church, a Christian, but they have the right to express their opinion on subjects. This is bullshit. You can't silence people based on opinion. The problem we find with Bill C-16 is that because gender is undefinable, it obligatorily pits gender rights against sex rights. What? Oh. Unlike most other human rights, the inclusion of gender identity and expression rights means the exclusion of other rights. Dead on. It's the government saying what you have to say, not what you can't say. And Jordan Peterson, 100% right. All the people fighting up against this need to be supported. You need to reach out and support people that are standing up against this progressive nightmare. We've heard much talk about bathroom bills, but Bill C-16 will apply to showers, locker rooms, rape shelters, good grief, and kids' camp cabins as well. Up until now, at least under federal law, women have had the right to privacy in sex-segregated spaces when they are unclothed and feel vulnerable. Yeah, you'd think so. From the side that pretends to care about women's rights. But we all know their hypocrisy in that. Most women, Islam, hijab is a feminist symbol. Oh, fuck you. It's a symbol of female oppression. Most women I know would not feel comfortable in the shower naked with a strange male, even if they have identified as a woman. Exactly. You should not be allowed to be in that space, the gender segregated spaces, if you don't have that junk. Period.